certain things happened within my private life. My father had a stroke last Christmas, and my daughter nearly died from her mental ill health and her autism. So I kind of felt that I wanted more flexibility in my life, so that I could, care for my family. I always kind of knew that I was a bit quirky as well, and I think when you set up your own company, it allows you to be yourself.
To have an element of quirkiness.
Yes. I mean, I absolutely love HR and respect, that how it should be done properly. But I also have this kind of quirky way about me as well. And I kind of noticed it when I've been working for other people. But when you have your own company, it allows you to kind of be free and give it a go and just take the plunge, really.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's really good.
So, but we've talked about this a few times.
Yeah.
About some of the ideas that you've got
Yes.
with Global, which I think are really what makes you completely different
Yes.
to anybody else, whether they're ethical or not. You actually have a complete niche that's something quite special, don't you?
I do, yes,
Yeah.
I do. So, following on from the ITV Meridian news article, so I was invited to be a member of the panel. There are a lot of people with autism that struggle with getting through that interview process because of complete sensory overload. So I wanted to offer a different way of interviewing people where you can see their skills and they can actually shine. And I think that really came out really well in the news article that I wrote. I just wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be outside and I wanted to be with animals. So I'm now working with, I've got several autistic young men who are hugely talented, got degrees. Again, they're struggling with that interview process, so I'm working
it's
with
funny,
them.
isn't it? Because the interview process is very antagonistic. You've got two people, or maybe more sometimes, facing each other across a desk, basically challenging each other, and that can be incredibly intimidating if you're not comfortable with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from my own experience, when I was interviewed, I think it's really uncomfortable to face this bureaucratic, process-driven sort of interview, which is very unfriendly and it doesn't allow you to shine. So for somebody who's got autism, being in an environment sort of like that, it just gives a complete sensory overload. So, as I say, I'm working with several young men at the moment. I'm also working with a couple of organisations and looking at their corporate social responsibility and sort of their workforce and their diversity and equality within their workforce. Because if you increase the individuals within your company, it has so many benefits to any organisation. It really does. So it's sort of thinking about your corporate social responsibility and developing your company. Really.
That's right. I mean, we were talking earlier as well, weren't we, about diversity in the workplace and even in TV. Things like Emmerdale that have actors with Down syndrome and other medical conditions. I think one of the actors has cerebral palsy or something. So it is something that people are taking much more concern over.
Yes.
There's also some practical realities here. As I mentioned earlier, there are 833,000 unfilled jobs, and we're trying to fill jobs with no one to fill them, yet there are pools of talented workers that exist that up until fairly recently were ignored.
Yes, absolutely.
People with supported needs, disabilities, be they mental or physical. And you and I and Alison as well have been involved with Kent Sport Employment and People Organisation, looking at how we get more people from those communities into work.
Yeah.
But you've taken that a step further than the rest of us, and you really kind of are focused on this.
Yes.
So you've got this lovely scheme for helping people with an alternative method of being interviewed.
Yes, that's right.
So we'll kind of explore that a bit more in a moment. But you're also looking at offering your consulting services to organisations to help them improve their diversity.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And as I was sort of saying, having a diverse workforce is incredibly beneficial for all organisations. I mean, it helps with this sort of global growth as well. If you think you've got people that speak different languages, it helps people be more empathic as well. It helps bring lots of different ideas into team building and stuff like that. So it's got huge advantages.
Absolutely, and it's a funny thing, isn't it, with things like autism and stuff like that. It isn't so much a thing; it's a spectrum, isn't it? You know, all of us could be autistic at some level.
Yeah, they say that we're all on the spectrum somewhere.
Yeah.
But I was also, when I was thinking yesterday, I was thinking that also, if we think to our circle of friends and family, there are people that we know that are unique. I like to use the word unique, that have some form of disability or mental or physical disability. And so I think it was almost like a disability was sort of elite, but we are all different and we all have something unique about us, you know, something quirky about us.
I have to have a statistic on some of that. That 17% of the workforce have some form of mental supported need, for want of a better term. 17%, that's a big chunk of the workforce.
That's a lot, isn't it? That is a lot. Well, I was looking on House Commons Library yesterday, as I was being a bit geeky, I do like my figures, and the information said that there are 7.6 million people of working age that reported that they had a disability, and that's between January and March this year, and that's 18% of the working age population. And then when we look at the disability employment gap, there are 51.7% of people with disabilities are in employment, that have disabilities, and 81.7% without disabilities were in employment. So you can see there's a complete difference there. And then we look at the unemployed as well. There is a difference between people with and without a disability as well. So government, I think government are set to increase the amount of people with disabilities in employment by 2027. So there's a big drive to get this going.
It's a great source of talent for us.
Absolutely.
I think the issue comes, and this is where you come into this in big time, the issue comes that most job creation these days in the private sector is with small firms.
Yes.
And small firms don't have the wherewithal for handling these things and are kind of a bit scared.
Absolutely. Yes.
So one of the great things of dealing with someone like you is you can hold their hands through this process so that they can hire people. And I want to get this message across because I'm quite keen on this as well. We're not doing this as a favour to people with supported needs. We're doing this as a favour to ourselves as employers by accessing talent that exists.
I think everyone benefits, don't they?
Exactly. Exactly. So, you know, but the thing that's stopping it is fear. On the one side, and the method by which we do it on the other side, you know, because it is quite challenging. And to be quite frank, I can say this because I own a recruitment website. We're absolutely appalling at interviewing people in this country. We really are appalling. You know, we go through the same trite stuff. You know, what do you want to do in? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I'd like to be in your job.
I think, Amanda, like you said, it's a strange way to start off a relationship, that you want to be positive and mutually beneficial and you want to work together with somebody, and yet, Paul, like you said, you sit opposite each other and you're firing questions at them and making them, trying to catch them out and make them feel uncomfortable.
And also, I've had to point this out to employers quite a number of times. So many employers sit there and go, we're going to interview you, and I go, hold on a minute, why would they want to work for you? They're as much interviewing you as you are interviewing them. And employers don't see it that way, but now more than ever they are. People have a choice of jobs now. There's thousands of them out there. Why should they work for you? It's a two-way process, and we don't organise it like that.
I think that's when you look at corporate social responsibility, you do look at an organisation. What is their culture? What do they stand for? And how do they do things?
I don't think there's a responsibility on the employers to make the interviewees feel at ease.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Which is why I was interested in you saying you take them to where animals are or outside.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
So I mean, the whole structure of that news article was very much from my heart. So being outside, being with animals and non-judgmental, and there's a lot of service animals as well, so for autism and lots of other people.
I think the tiger cage was going over the top.
Oh, I remember that. So it was just really, I mean, Morgan was a really talented young man. When I met him, I couldn't believe how amazing he actually was. You know, when you meet people and they're like sparkling and they're buzzing. So I wanted him just to feel completely relaxed. So being with an animal, his dog, being outside, and then doing the next part of the interview, which was a working interview. So he was very aware of what was coming, because if they don't know what's going to happen in their interview process, autistic individuals can be too much for them. And when he was interviewed, he was fantastic, because he said this is a really great way to do things, and this will really help autistic people get into work. It's just for me, it's about doing things slightly differently. It's not hard, it's not expensive, it's not time consuming. It's just we need to think differently, so we can find those people's skills, we can make them feel comfortable, and then we can bring these people into the workplace. And they're such an asset. They literally shine. Their energy is so positive.
I totally get it about animals, completely relaxing. If I just see a cat curled up, it relaxes me. You've got 8.
I've got 8.
Yeah,
so we're talking.
You're totally relaxed.
I've got 8 cats.
I'm feeling Mrs. Slocum moment.
A lot of cats.
I had 10, but I know my husband's listening, and I wasn't allowed to keep 2 of the kittens. So
Oh no, he made you give 2 kittens
I had
away.
to give 2 away.
That's just unfair.
I've only got 8 now, but it's quite a busy household anyway, with 8 cats running around. But it's heaven, really heaven.
See, I'm a dog girl.
yeah.
I've got dogs, but I do love cats as well.
Oh, lovely. I love all animals, but I think cats purr at a certain level. So when you stroke them, they purr. The vibration of their purr is very, very relaxing. So animals are just
But also unconditional.
yes,
Mind
and
you,
non-judgmental.
Mind you, not necessarily. There's a fabulous Facebook video going around at the moment of a lady. Every time she tries to sing, the cat smashes her one in the face. Have you seen it? It's hilarious. She just started to sing, and the cat walks up behind her and goes whammo.
Not the right resonance.
But it was interesting in the ITV Meridian piece
Yeah.
that you filmed talking about this interview technique. Basically, the interviewer and the interviewee went for a walk
Yes.
along the seafront,
That's
because
it.
they were where you Hive or somewhere.
Up at Sheerness.
Where?
Was it? No, Isle of Sheppey.
Oh, yeah,
Sheppey,
right.
yes.
Okay, yeah.
And it was an S.
You're at the
Something beginning with S.
Yeah, it was the best place, somewhere up
You're
there.
by the sea.
Over the bridge.
And they walked
Yes.
whilst chatting.
Yes.
Lovely.
That was part of the interview process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've got this element of fresh air. They were walking
Yeah.
the dog or something.
It was Morgan's dog. Yes, it was his dog. So that would make him feel very comfortable.
Familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. And being outside is very calming as
Yeah.
well.
So it takes all the antagonism away from
Yeah.
that silly, false
Yeah.
interview kind of environment,
Yeah.
and just makes it a stroll and a chat.
Yeah.
Well, it's also feet on the ground, which yoga background that
Yes.
we have is grounding.
Yes.
So.
You know, it strikes me that interviewing in those kind of styles is suitable for everybody as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Why do we have to make everything so antagonistic all the time? Why do we have to put people under pressure? I know that sometimes you need to see if people can cope under pressure, obviously, depending on the type of job they do. But why falsely put them in those situations?
I think the thing is, in HR and employment law, you have to ensure that you carry out a fair process with your interview. So that's why it's very structured and the same questions for everybody. But you can ask those questions when you're walking along, and the bit where the guys were walking along was about, tell me about yourself. And so you can still ask those same questions, but just different. That's all, rather than this really, really heavily structured process.
And it's also about the office environment, lights and things like that. I feel completely different when I'm outside.
Yeah.
If I've spent, maybe 6-7 hours in front of my Mac,
Yeah.
I start to feel quite ill and have to get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Yeah. There was a joke in there, and I just had to avoid it. Amanda, it's fascinating talking to you. We could talk about
Thank
this
you.
forever. I need to move on and talk to Alison now, but you can join in with us, because we're going to be talking about some of the same things. But for a moment, if people want to find out about the work of ethical HR and the kind of things you're doing, what's the best way to do that?
They can email me, or they can have a look at my website. So my website is www.ethicalhrsolutions.co.uk, and my mobile number's there. Call me if you'd rather call me or text me.
There's a link to Amanda's site on the Campus Radio. There's also a whole blog about all these kind of issues, of which there's some